What's the background?
What are you doing back there? What do you mean you want to give background? Are you controlling this podcast now?
No.
Oh, you want to do a background image?
No, she's got something to say. Hold on. Go ahead.
Of what I have to say.
Go ahead. Say.
It's how I got involved, that kind of thing.
Oh, is everything okay?
Yeah, everything is fine. I wrote down a couple of notes,
Oh,
so I'm good.
okay.
Beverly's taking charge of the podcast today.
She takes
That's
charge of everything. I
Everything.
know that.
Correct.
You have
She's
to.
Rein her in, Frank, if she
I
gets
know.
too
She's got the
excited.
hammer.
Actually, I'm nervous to do this podcast now. Like,
I
geez,
don't blame you.
it's like Judge Judy over there
I,
with
um,
that
She
hammer
went
and
to
mallet.
school with her. She went to school
I
with Judge
graduated with her.
Did you go to school with Judge Judy?
Yes, I did, and she graduated the same year as I did.
There's a slight resemblance there when you pick that hammer
I
up.
know. Other people have told me that.
I feel nervous now.
Maybe that's it. We're going to introduce the Judge and Frank.
Do what you.
Okay.
Okay.
So Frank, it sounds like we can hear you guys well, right? So that's good.
Yesterday there was like a sound, but I don't hear it today, so that's good.
Okay.
That's good.
I paid my electric bill.
Wait.
And so keep in mind during this at any time, right? It all gets edited. So if we have to say, oh, could you repeat that? Or, geez, I didn't hear what you said, or some strange sound shows up, we'll just say that, and then it'll get be edited out anyways, and we can start over.
Hold on. But if we put it on the raw and unedited version on YouTube, it will not be edited. So
Right, but we're not putting that up, right? I think we don't.
yeah,
do that
no, I've
anymore,
continued
so.
to do that.
On a release?
No.
There,
Sue
I'm
me.
hearing that beep again. You hear it, Elizabeth?
Yeah.
And there's nothing I can do about that.
That's
What is
okay.
it?
Okay.
But
Because
what is it?
We don't know. It's that mouse that's running our computer.
We have a laptop which has the screen.
Yeah.
We have an old desktop that doesn't have a camera. So
Right.
we hook up a wire into the laptop because I can't hear. I don't hear
Oh,
well. I have
got it.
CMT ears.
Well, we need you to hear for this podcast, so
Lost a lot of my hearing. So
no, it's good.
We'll just talk
Okay,
over
and
it.
so you guys will get through this, and then you're heading to New York, right? After this,
upstate. Yeah, not today. Tomorrow.
Okay. Tomorrow. Okay.
This will drain me for the day.
Okay.
Miss Positive.
Here we go. All right, Elizabeth, we're recording. Hamburger. Okay. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Hello, everyone. This is Chris and Lizzo.
We are a brother-sister team.
On behalf of the Charcot-Marie Tooth Association, aka CMTA, we are coming at you.
ya from coast to coast. I live in California and Chris lives in Vermont.
And this is another fantastic episode of our famous podcast named what, Lizzo?
CMT, the number 4, me. So you got
That's right, folks.
Let me say it.
Jeez.
CMT for me.
She's so bossy, but let me
I know.
continue. This is a comprehensive podcast covering all aspects of CMT, the voice of individuals living with CMT, their challenges, and more importantly, their inspirational stories. We will also cover research updates, fundraising, interviews with the CMTA community, board members, branch leaders, CMTA leaders, and overall, an opportunity to spread awareness through the eyes of those with CMT.
Hey, Chris, do you know what month this is for the CMTA?
It's the Chris O month.
No, we haven't got that far yet. It's
Oh.
CMT Awareness Month. Happy
Ooh, I
CMT
love it.
Awareness Month.
I love it. Love it. And what does that mean, Lizzo?
It means that this is a time that we spread awareness and that the CMTA, they have all these things going on in the month of September, but this isn't going to come out till October. But I just thought I'd wish you a happy Awareness Month.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you. So Lizzo, let me tell you, I'm happy to say we pulled off the 9th annual Cycle for CMT signature in Vermont. signature event in Vermont. And let me tell you, boy, am I tired. What about you?
You're tired. I went to Vermont. I came back. I'm exhausted. And now we're doing the San Francisco cycle for CMT. And talk about tired. I have swag all over the place. I'm exhausted. And if I can make it through Saturday, I'm good.
Hey, listen, Lizzo, it sounds like you are complaining. And let me tell you, our next guest would be appalled to hear you complaining.
You know what? You're kind of right. I am complaining. And these guys wouldn't even complain.
I know.
Right?
And listeners, in support of today's guests, I am going to take us to New York and New Jersey. What a unique breed these two are, Lizzo. And let me ask you, are you familiar with the language of New Yorkers? How they talk and their accents?
No, but how could I be? Our mom, Bev, never let me go to New York City. I don't think I even went to New York City till I was like 45 because she said as soon as I got off that plane, I'd get shot. So who would want to go there?
Right. So here we go, Lizzo. Did you have your coffee today?
Oh my gosh. I'm glad you don't speak like that.
Make sure you drink your water, sis. And I was on the train and schwitzing.
What
you know what that means?
No, what are you talking?
The people from Brooklyn say, instead of sweating, they say schwitzing.
Let's use
and
that.
Lizzo, in terms of this, you got beef with me, Lizzo? You got beef with me, eh?
Yeah, actually, I do have beef with you.
Now, here's something really good that I'm wondering if our guest speakers say when they're fundraising and asking for money. When our guest speakers say, we need to find a cure and need your shmoney. It's not money, but it's shmoney. That's what I heard.
I'm kind of glad
Brooklyn
I've never
say.
been to New York. I think it sounds like a whole different language.
Right. Okay. I'm honoring our guests by speaking their language. So I'll hand it over to you, Lizzo.
Well, I do want to say that these people live in Fort Lee, New Jersey. And last night I was on the internet and I went to Google Maps and I looked at their apartment. I saw a view from the window. I looked across. So I feel like I've actually been to their house and you can actually look out the window over the Hudson River into New York City. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So who do we have today, Lizzo? Who are our guests?
Chris, these two are amazing. They're really longtime friends. I've known them for like 20 years. It seems like that. Yeah, about 20 years. And they're CMT advocates. And these two have been married for 60 years. That's how old I'm going to be in December, 60 years. So that's a long time.
And I've been married 27. Wow.
We don't care.
Yeah. So let me talk more about myself, folks.
It's about our guest. Okay. Let's refocus.
Keep me on track.
Today we have Beverly and Frank Wurzel.
Woo.
Beverly was a CMTA branch leader and she started around 2005 and is to date the longest standing branch leader with her husband, Frank. And she's even won Volunteer of the Year award. I mean, she is amazing. And we're going to hear from both of them very soon. But Frank is always by her side. She's a determined fundraiser, a natural people person, and a fierce advocate for people with CMT. And Frank, he always makes people laugh. He just makes people laugh. He's funny. They make a great pair. What a couple, Beverly and Frank Wurzel.
These two have a lot to say, folks, and they have a great approach to fundraising, strong beliefs which drive them every day in everything they do, a commitment to the CMTA, finding a cure for CMT, and are definitely not a pair who sit on the sidelines. They are engaged. So welcome, Frank. Welcome, Bev.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
You got it. So exciting. I had so much fun yesterday during our pre-interview, just getting to know you folks. And I'll tell you, left teary-eyed, emotional, excited, ready to knock down doors and keep moving on and do what we can.
She's an inspiration. She's an inspiration. So Bev and Frank, let's start from the beginning for our listeners. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your relationship to CMT and CMTA.
Well, so I probably knew something. I knew something was wrong at about 35 years old. I lost my lateral instability in one foot, and I said something is going on. But went to a shoemaker, and he put a lateral wedge on the shoes, and it was good for years after that. Each time I got a pair of sneakers, I'd have that lateral wedge put on. And it wasn't until years later that I developed foot drop, many, many years later. And I said, no, there's something definitely wrong here. Finally diagnosed with CMT. And at about that time, I found out that there were actually groups that met, they were called support groups.
That's right. Our support groups. And remember when they were called support and action groups?
And it was very far. The one that was the closest to my house was at least an hour away. But I did reach out to the branch leader at the time. We're talking 2003, 2002, 2003.
Why did it take you so long? So when were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed just a few years earlier than that, when I developed foot drop.
Okay, and so why did it take you a while to reach out to a branch?
I didn't want to be with. I didn't know what to expect from a branch. I didn't know what to expect from going to a meeting, what type of people I'd meet. I was very reluctant. It was a branch leader that called me over and over, please come join us. And I said, no, I'm not ready for this yet. You know, maybe next time. And she could not have been kinder. And she said, please come. She said, you will feel very comfortable, I promise. I said, fine. I said, you know, it took me a while. It took me about a year. I said, but don't expect me to say anything. Right. So Frank and I finally went. And I was just blown away. I mean, I didn't stop talking the whole time.
No, yeah, no.
And, everybody was just so nice. And they were just regular people.
And they gave out cake and coffee.
They had cake. Okay, so, right. Frank went for the cake and coffee, but still supporting her along the way.
I mean, these people just happened to have CMT, but they were just ordinary folk. And I just met so many people on this journey. It was just wonderful going to the meetings. And it was many years later, probably 2 or 3 years later, that the group leader said, can't do this anymore. I need somebody to take over. And I looked at Frank and I said, I don't know, you know, I think I'm ready for this. And he said, I'll help you. We sort of looked at each other's eyes and we knew that we would do this together. And so I very meekly raised my hand and I said, fine. I said, I will be the new group, the new branch leader or support group leader. Yeah. So there was very little known. It was that was the year 2005. And very little was known about CMT at the time. There was very little research going on. I continued to go to the meetings, and it was many, many years later that things started to happen and things started to progress. And there were conferences, branch leader conferences at the time, and I went to every one of them. And I met some wonderful, wonderful people. Mm-hmm. I met researchers and physicians, many of which I still speak to, and on a personal level, on a first name basis. So,
Bev, you know, a lot of branch leaders burn out very quickly. I mean, it's a lot of work. It really is a lot of work, but you keep going. What's your secret?
It was a lot of work, and I asked for help. You know, originally I said, anybody in the room going to write this letter or make this phone call? And they would for a short period of time, and then they would just stop. And I said to Frank, you got to help me on this. I said, because I'm not giving up. I'm not giving this up. This means this is wonderful. This is a wonderful opportunity to stay engaged.
And after a couple of shots of scotch, we were ready to go.
Is that what you did before the branch meetings? You had your scotch and you went together and then you could tolerate it?
They were so many people that we have lost a lot of people in all these years because of our age. I'm 80 years old, and it's.
You told me you were 50.
I'm not.
She doesn't look a day over 50.
Not at all.
What keeps you going, Bev? What keeps you guys going?
The fact that I was getting worse. The fact that I just wanted to leave. I wanted to do something positive. It was important for me to to have a purpose. This was a purpose. My children were grown. They didn't need us as much. It was just going to be part of my legacy and part of Frank's legacy, and that was, and it made me feel relevant. It made me feel, and it made me feel like I was doing something for the greater good, and it just took my mind off me, and that was a good part of why I speak to the people so often, and I call people so often, because it takes my mind off me and my challenges. Because it's an awesome feeling. It's just absolutely awesome.
It's just so great to hear your approach to giving back and your commitment and keeping the branch going and how it makes you feel being engaged in the CMTA. I know during the pre-interview, you said a few things, one of which was like, you feel like the CMTA is your family, right? It's become that component of your life with you and Frank.
Absolutely. I cannot begin to tell you the friends I've made along the way. And if I reach out to anybody, I will get a phone call back immediately. And I have been in touch with people throughout the year. It's just not at a meeting or at an event. And I've seen the progress. I think that's also a tremendous motivation.
Mm-hmm.
The advancements in research and the project, you just want to give, and you want to, it wasn't until years after I became branch leader that we started doing some fundraising. And we collected $2,000 that first time, and then $3,000 the year after. And, but we had a very supportive group, and I was just determined to make a difference.
Yeah. And so tell us on the fundraising aspect, you bring up a really good point in terms of the fundraising. And I believe you said you'd have luncheons, and you even told a story. I know you're an aggressive fundraiser, which I really love.
Yeah.
Tell us, our listeners, I think there was a story about someone wanting to donate $25.
Oh, yeah.
And you had a great approach, and you live by that. Don't take no for an answer, right?
I will not take no for an answer.
Yeah.
And it's just that important to me because of the advancements and because I have seen it personally. Because in the 20 years, almost 20 years that I'm doing this, there has been so much progress. So why not continue that?
So tell us that story, Beth.
Awesome.
Tell us that story.
So we were at a group meeting. I took a branch leader meeting, and we had quite a crowd that day. I don't remember if we had a guest speaker or not. And I was doing some fundraising right then and there. And I said, we're collecting money. I said, I need your money. I need you guys to write out a check for me.
And he came in late.
And one guy came in late, and he came over to me and he said, I hear you're collecting money. I said, yeah, actually I am. So he said, how come I never give you $25? And I said, I don't know about that. I'm not so sure about that. Could you do better?
Yeah.
And he doubled it. And
That's
awesome.
And I thanked him. But I've gotten to know the people, which I think is a very important part of my fundraising.
Yeah.
I know the people. I know who to ask. I know who will give me. I know who will say yes, and I know who will say no.
And I'll tell you, you have an approach, and not to cut you off there, but it makes me think on your approach to fundraising, which can also benefit people listening to the podcast, right? I think you and Frank firmly believe in that. You reflected not only in fundraising, but business and how you conduct your life, but that personal touch.
Very
right?
important. It is.
Tell us about that.
That's the selling point.
It is.
It is the most important part, because anybody that walked in, we would go around the room at a meeting and tell me about yourself. Tell me, would you like to share the kind of CMT you have? And tell me about your family. And I would write down notes, and I would know the names of their children and their husbands, and the type of CMT. And so, and if they didn't come to a meeting, I would always call. I haven't seen you. You didn't come. Are you okay?
That's right.
Very important to reach out. Very important to make the phone calls. That's what got me started to go to my first meeting, because Kay, that was the branch leader's name, called me over and over, come to the meeting. We miss you. We want to meet you. So I just
You replicated that, right? You replicated that.
Absolutely.
Now, does Frank take any of the phone calls? Does he call people too, or?
He doesn't. He goes over all my notes and he adds a lot to them because I don't think the day goes by that I don't write a letter or make a phone call or answer a phone call.
Or find a loophole.
You know,
Yeah.
That's what I look for, is a loophole.
He's even sat on the computer to go to companies and to big companies and to see if he can give, find out about grants and other monies, where other monies can be collected. But in the years that I've been doing the fundraising, we've collected quite a bit of money.
It's so great.
I don't, we're always, when they do the count at the end, I think in January, of how well we do, we're always on that top tier.
That's great. And I
Always.
think you referenced, Lizzo, these guys over their years, I think have raised well over $250,000 in their efforts, which is just unbelievable. And the other thing I think about, Bev, is that, people newly engaged with CMT or even a year or two, they do always question about the progress of research. And it's so awesome to hear you say just the progress you have seen over these years, which keeps you motivated for fundraising and doing what you're doing today.
I encourage everyone listening to this podcast today to take my word for the fact that progress is happening. It's happening for the 20 years that I've been around, and I have seen it personally. And I encourage them to people who live with CMT, people who have family members who have CMT, people who have friends who have CMT, get involved. It's very gratifying. It really, truly is gratifying. Get involved. Go to a branch meeting. Become a co-leader. Participate in a fundraising effort. It doesn't have
Whatever
to be.
Whatever you can do.
And,
there's so many, Bev. There are so many people.
So let me
out
just
there.
say one more thing. So Bev, as you can find out, this is very typical of Lizzo. You're on a path of trying to get your point, and then she takes you down another path, and now you got to remember where you left off and go back. So
And
I
now
do
by
the
now
same
we've
thing.
all
I
forgotten.
do the same thing Frank does for you. I look for loopholes, and then I bring things back for Lizzo. So
Frank is an intricate part of what I do because I couldn't do it without him.
I could do without Chris, though, I think.
all right, Lizzo, you were saying something.
So, Bev, what do you say to those people that just go, oh, I don't want to get engaged. I don't want to do anything.
There's nothing I can do.
There's nothing I can do that would make a difference.
But there is.
What would you say to those people?
Once you get them at a meeting, that's the selling point.
Get
them involved, no matter what. Let them get a cup of coffee for somebody who can't use the handle on the coffee machine. Get involved, and that's how they say, hey, we did something, maybe we can do a little better.
And show you care.
And show you care.
And you do, just take.
Everybody's got a problem.
Yeah.
There is a problem with everybody. But you gotta help.
It's become very, very important to Frank and myself to continue this effort. Frank and I feel that we're just starting. I mean, this is just the
It's
beginning.
so great.
You know what? If we had Beverly with Gina, they would make such a good team as our top fundraisers. They'd both be in development.
Newspapers now.
Wouldn't be the same.
I bet they have the same
Taught
approach.
me a lot of what I've known, by the way, a lot, because she has a very aggressive, nature about her as far as fundraising, and she's quite awesome at what she does.
You gotta be alive.
She's just
She's
amazing.
She is. Lizzo, one thing I'd like to talk about is, and maybe you can lead us there, is just, Bev, as you're speaking, it's never just Bev, it's Bev and Frank, or Frank and Bev, and like in everything you do. And I think it's great. This is like the dynamic duo, Lizzo.
I mean, it's not only like together now, but it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. They're always together doing everything.
You should see us when we buy a car. The dealer gives us money to get out.
This is true. We do everything together. I mean, Frank, there are some things I can't do. I have challenges doing now.
So tell us what Frank does for you, like for your CMT, and then I want to know what you do
Yeah.
for Frank.
Yeah, like when you get up, what's Frank do for you?
He puts my shoes. Well, I take my shower. That takes an hour because it's challenging. It just takes time. And Frank puts my shoes and my braces on for me because I can't bend. It's just too hard. The braces are too cumbersome and blah blah blah. So, he helps me with that.
And I make adjustments to some of the braces.
Yeah,
You do?
I just got new ones, and they come out of Albany, New York, and I'm very pleased with them. But they're very cumbersome, and they had some tweaks, and I haven't gotten back. And Frank is very handy, so he's made some adjustments for me. But we spend a lot of time together, when he's not running and doing something with some of his customers. We have our meals together, every one of them.
Don't you guys walk as well?
Yes.
Yes, we walk every single day. Every single day.
And have you ever felt like, I don't want to walk today?
No, not going to happen because Frank says, yes, we are. But
He says you are. Great.
I hold his arm and we go for our walk. I had a bad mishap about 3 years ago. I didn't want to wait for Frank. He was out doing some job somewhere, and I walked alone, and I actually fell, and I broke my jaw. So that set me back. It set me back as far as my mind. I wasn't comfortable. I was frightened.
Didn't they have to wire up your whole jaw and
They
everything?
did. Could you imagine?
Wow.
No, I don't know. How did you not talk? Could you still talk?
How did I not talk is
They
correct.
tied it up.
It was wired shut. I broke it in 3 places. And I would do that a lot, when I was crying a lot. But
She had liquid breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah. Was that Scotch, Frank?
No. Bourbon.
Okay. Okay.
But we do everything together. And like I said, we have not missed a branch media conference. Well, we do everything together.
And so, Bev, what do you do for Frank? I know he does a lot for you, but you also give
does
to
a
Frank.
lot for me. And since COVID came in, it has started and has yet to say goodbye to us. Frank has been doing the shopping. So because it's hard. It's just hard for me to do things now.
Right.
My hands are somewhat affected, but it's my feet really that are
But
really.
you still cook and everything, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's very important. Nutrition has always been an important part of my life. So yeah, I cook 3 meals a day. I make our breakfast together. We have lunch, and I'm planning what to have for dinner. And I think one of the first things Frank says to me in the morning is, "What's for breakfast?" And
Yeah.
we start that way. And so
Yeah.
we proceed from there. But there's always some CMT related activity or call or these days what I'm doing mostly is I'm concentrating more on 1A.
On 1A?
On 1A. It's what I have. It's what my struggles are. And I want to see as much research dollars as I can go into 1A. So right now at this moment, I am waiting for a 1A match, if that should come this year. And then I will go bunkers. I will make my phone calls. I will write my letters. And I will get the word out.
So
That's
tell
so
us about
great.
your family, Bev. We're talking about 1A. You say what kind of CMT you have. That's a 50-50 chance of passing it on. Do you have children? Do they have CMT? Do you have grandchildren? Do they have CMT? And if so, how do you feel about that?
So Frank and I now have 3 great-grandchildren with 1 on the way. Yeah. So
Great. Congrats.
3 great. Yeah. Thank you. I have 3 children. And only 1 has CMT, but he's doing quite well. The other 2 do not. My grandchild, one grandchild, my son's child, does not seem to present with any issues at this point. So we're just kind of waiting. What I decided to do, because my brother has CMT,
Oh,
go to have a blood test done. And it was done for 1A because Mike Shy led me in that direction and says, I think you have 1A, just get tested for that. And so I got a hold of Shauna at that time, Shauna Feely, and who arranged to have this done through my insurance at the time. And I got tested and I got a report back and I sent a letter to my son and I sent a letter to my brother. And I said, if anybody else presents in the family, whether it be a child or grandchild, this is what they have. So came back absolutely included. This is what she has.
Yeah.
So extra of my, myelin protein. So that's really my story. But
does your brother, are you still in contact with your brother?
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Does he have children?
He does, and he has 3 children, and of his 3 children, he has one that has CMT.
Oh,
Also,
interesting.
very mild. He's 3 years younger than me, and he's starting. It's been very slow, the progression in my case. It's been slow, but it's definitely there now, and it definitely limits my ability to do things. And I worry a lot, Elizabeth.
That's her middle name, Worry.
Worry.
I
Yeah.
do.
Bev Worry Wurzel. That's hard to
worry
say.
about the tomorrows. I worry about the what ifs and what's going to happen when, and all the things. It's very hard for me to live in the moment, and so, which I have to learn to do.
Frank, are you do you live in the moment or are you a worrier too? Are you both
I don't worry.
worriers? You know?
Whatever it is. That's it.
No, hardly. He's totally the other way. Totally
Yeah.
doesn't worry. We'll deal with what we have to deal with. When we have to deal with it.
And is that frustrating, Bev, or is that
What it does is
that great advice to you?
It's I want an answer. I want to know,
Right.
what, and I'm not, and I'm, we'll worry about it. We'll deal with it. You'll figure it out. So,
There's always a solution.
Frank doesn't dwell on it. But I get very, very frustrated, and I do worry.
That's why your blood pressure's so high.
We're not discussing my blood pressure.
Are we going to talk about Frank now?
Yeah, doesn't he have some surgery coming up or something? Oh, we won't talk about that.
Yeah, but we need a plumber for that.
No, he's fine.
But listen, while we are on this, something I wanted to ask, and so this is so Frank,
Go ahead.
if you could change one thing about Beverly, what would it be? And then I'm going to ask a similar question to Bev.
Nerves.
Nerves.
She's so over the top. She's always nervous.
Okay.
Oh,
And that bothers me a lot.
okay. Interesting. I thought you meant like her CMT nerves.
No, not at all.
I knew when I married her, she had something.
Yes.
His
Right.
mother said
From Europe.
His
From Europe.
His mother said she's walking funny. I don't know.
Right. Right. So you wish she wasn't as nervous, where then you try to play the role of don't worry and things will be
Correct.
okay. Right. So it's kind of a good exchange there. And I guess, Bev, what's the one thing you would change about Frank after all these years, if you could?
He's, we're part of a set.
Yep.
And it's just, we're not one without the other is just inconceivable.
Yeah.
And he's tremendous help to me.
I know, but what's the one thing you would change? What's the one thing? It could be like his ears or something. I don't know.
I used to be his work. He still talks about work, about going to Manhattan and seeing his customers. And I said, I need your help. I need your help. I need your help. I get someone, if he's not here for any length of time, well, how do I get that from the top cabinet? Or how do I, well, you got to cut this or whatever it may be. So he's starting to slow down a little bit, not because he wants to, because I want to. Him to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you guys are a solid team. And I think you said it very well. The team doesn't function in the absence of one person, right? And you both have strengths and weaknesses, and you guys have tackled so many, issues together, and you feed off of one another. And I just think it's fantastic how you guys operate, right? Like your success in fundraising, Bev, wouldn't be as successful if Frank wasn't involved. So it's just an awesome team.
no, we wouldn't be. but I don't, I just encourage everybody to do something.
Yeah.
It really, how do you not do something? How do you not, again, this is just part of our legacy. It's just part of it, but it's an integral part of it. Um, you couldn't get me to go to my first branch meeting.
I know.
You just, it took me several years to say, finally, I'll go, I will go. But
So
it
Bev,
is very important.
I have a question for you.
See, Bev,
I
she
know
interrupted you, but
I've been
that's fine.
waiting and I don't know what the right time is, but now's the right time. I want you to think about this first, but you wake up in the morning. CMT is not an easy disease. It's not an easy disease. And I want to know if you get discouraged, how do you feel about having a son with CMT? And do you feel bad about that? How do you feel about grandkids with CMT? Do you get emotional about that? I mean, it's hard. It's a hard disease.
You know, I sometimes I feel very sorry for myself. I realize, I have friends who are my age, and then some of them are losing their spouses. Others are struggling with other disabilities or other illnesses.
Mhm.
And in my head, I know, oh, I'm glad for what I have. Thank God it could be worse. But I also know how challenging it is for me and how much over the years, how much of a change there has. It's been slow, but it's been progressive. And I get angry because why can't I go to the supermarket? Why is it so difficult for me to get out of the house, to walk with the braces? Do I take the cane? Do I not take the cane? I'm angry at my dependence. I think if I have to say one thing, I'm angry at my dependence on Frank.
Hmm.
But on the same flip of the coin,
Mm-hmm.
Frank is dependent on me for so many things. So I think it equals itself out a bit. He does so much for me, but I do for him as well. So
That's fantastic. It's just a great answer. And one thing that I recall you both said yesterday is also some of your motivation in getting engaged is it keeps your mind off of all those things you just talked about.
well, that's
Right, where
what
you can sit there and just worry about all of that, and you staying engaged or going for walks or running the branch and fundraising keeps your mind off of that.
it's an incredible feeling, Chris, when it's the most gratifying feeling. I said this at the beginning of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody calls up and they don't know what to do, and they've just been diagnosed themselves, or had a child recently been diagnosed, and they don't know where to turn. And for me to say, well, I have some thoughts. Perhaps I can be of help to you. Perhaps, and we can spend. And I've I've helped so many people along that way. I've told them about the centers of excellence. Um, I've told them about some of the doctors, some of the researchers that I know, and to feel hopeful. And that's what I'm feeling. I feel because of all the years that I've been doing this, I feel very, very hopeful for the future. Not so much to stop my progression, not so much that I will benefit by the research, but research is definitely on target. It's advanced so much in the 20 years, and I am hopeful. So when somebody has a 13-year-old child calls me, I say, there's no doubt in my mind, this child is going to be fine. Because by the time that this child needs any type of intervention, there's going to be treatment. There'll be a cure. There'll be no issues. Get it out of your head. That child is going to be fine.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt in my mind about that.
Yeah.
So when you think about your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, you're like, they're going to be fine because I've been involved and I have helped with the research, and the CMTA is doing a great job with research, and we will have something for 1A.
That's it. I mean, none of my grandchildren have it as far as I know.
Oh, they're little babies.
They're little babies. They're little tots, so it's hard to know. But and my son that has it is very mildly affected. He's a professional in Manhattan, a CPA in Manhattan, so he's doing remarkably well. He walks a lot, he exercises a lot, so he's doing fine. I'm not concerned about him at all. We don't talk about that much. He's always he's one of the first people I call for a donation. He always
Yeah.
comes through. So
So Beverly,
like
I
I said,
remember that's changed. I remember talking to you, and Johan really related to your story, my son Johan. And I remember Howard, your son, had like some back issues and things like that. And did he go through a tough time, or?
no, I mean, he has some issues related to CMT that I know are related to CMT. When he was a young boy, he's never been tested, by the way. So
Okay.
when he was a young boy, he had a little bit of a quiver on his hand.
Yeah, that
And
shaking.
Right.
Yeah.
just a little bit. And I took him to the doctor and said, I don't know, it doesn't look like very much. Forget about it. So we forgot about it.
Okay.
But he functions just well. He doesn't use braces. He doesn't use any adaptive equipment whatsoever. So and my brother doesn't either. And of their entire family, I'm presenting the worst symptoms right now. But I'm older. Also,
Right.
my brother's younger than me. So, like I say, it's been progressive, but it's been slow. A slow
So you-
progression.
You have 3 kids, and did you treat Howard any differently, or what was your
Absolutely.
attitude towards that?
And every one of them.
No, absolutely not.
No,
No.
so
Oh,
it's
that's
just
great.
No.
yeah, that's
No.
interesting, because people don't know what to do when there's one that has CMT and the others, and you just went on like, this is what we got. You just got to do your
Frank
thing.
doesn't treat me any differently knowing I have CMT. He actually, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing that you can't do.
Yeah.
Just stop complaining. He doesn't act as if I have any type of disability whatsoever.
She gets mad when I ask her to get a job.
He says, "But you're gonna get a job." He doesn't
She
care.
has one. She's a branch leader.
I know, but
I am. And
there's
now,
24 hours in a
and
day.
you want to know,
Right.
it's getting harder and harder to keep the branch afloat because we've lost so many people because we're an older group.
Yep.
But we have a remarkable. We have now.
Modern IT
We
fellow.
now have an IT guy who's
Terrific.
he's terrific, and he's done all the computer work, all the
Zoom
IT work,
meetings.
all the, I find that we're doing, since COVID, I have not had an in-person meeting since then.
Yeah.
And I find, because it's more difficult for people to get to it.
It is.
Yeah.
It's just so hard to get to the car and to go over the bridge and cross the river and over and to get to the meetings. I find that we could get 30 or 40 people on a Zoom call if
Yeah.
I have an inspirational speaker,
Mm-hmm.
and we do quite well.
And
Yeah.
bravo for doing the technology and getting
Exactly.
somebody to help you out, because it's not easy.
You have
Yeah.
to make it easy, right? For people to attend.
But it just blows my mind when somebody has CMT and just sits on the sideline and says, I'm not going to do anything. Why?
Right.
Why? So I don't understand that whole thought
Yeah.
process.
Yeah. And Bev, it's making me think, and I know the answer to this question, but do you feel like the CMTA community or those with CMT would definitely benefit if we had more individuals like you and Frank, right, taking action? And is there a need for that?
I think
Well,
there is a need.
I'll tell you about the need. I live in Fort Lee, New Jersey. That's at the tip of the Hudson River.
Mm-hmm.
Behind us, going
County,
west,
Rockland.
going north. So we have New York State. At that point, we go into New York State. There is not one branch in any county of New York State till we get up to Albany.
And that's crazy. Think of the
And
population.
hundreds and hundreds of miles away. And I have, there was a time when we were doing our luncheons pre-COVID, that I did get a group from Rockland County who was very supportive of us. This is another county that in New York, but that's sort of fizzed out. And I don't understand why people don't want to do that. It's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. accomplishment, of doing, of
Helping
participating.
others.
Yeah.
You know, and
It
just
doesn't cost anything.
makes you feel
So
good. Makes you
Right.
feel
that's
great.
the bottom line. It doesn't.
Well, it
cost-
does kind of cost something because when I go to, Bev's group, she's going to ask me for $50 instead of 25, but that's worth it, I think, right?
Yeah, that's standard. You ask for 50.
Oh,
You're getting
Oh,
away.
yeah, it costs me. It's definitely going to cost me if I go over there.
No, but you're right. You do, yeah, there's
It's 100 now.
oh, it's
yeah,
100
right.
now. Yeah, there is no
Inflation.
expense, and I guess I agree with you. It's
yeah, but as
this
far
this is anybody listening to this podcast, right? You have a really strong message, right? You can get engaged, or you can sit
involved.
on the sidelines, but get
something.
involved.
It doesn't have to be, you don't need to be a branch leader. Go participate in a fundraising
That's
effort.
right.
Anything, do anything, make a phone call up somebody with CMT and say, can I come over and visit? Would you like me to go shopping for you? Would you like to go shopping with me? It doesn't have to be a tremendous, and just ask. Don't be shy to ask people for money. Don't be shy to ask people. All they can say is no.
And
Right.
then ask a week later again.
And then ask.
Keep asking.
It's persistence. And
Correct.
Absolutely. And you gave a figure, you said a figure of about $250,000. Yeah, I don't think that's terribly far from what it's been. Yeah.
Probably more.
So
Probably more.
So, and we have one member who's an on-giving monthly. So we don't have that many members anymore. But I have a list of my
that's right.
fundraising people, and like I say, right now I'm concentrating more on 1A, and I'm waiting for a match. I do super well on matches, and it's more of a
You get 2 for 1.
you get 2 for 1. And
Exactly.
Right.
so, you're going to give me 100, I'm going to have 200 in my hand. So help me. Don't say no to me. Help me out. So
I want to thank you both for your enthusiasm and your motivation and your inspirational
Totally.
attitudes. I've known you both for a long time, and I love you. And you are like family to me. Even, Chris, when Johan was looking for a job in HR, they made an appointment with Johan and helped Johan out and gave him ideas. Then they were looking around. That's dedication. That's friendship. That's
That is.
family.
it's the CMTA and the people, Elizabeth and Gina and so many others have become family to me. It's a second family. It's somebody I know who will get on the phone and say, what's wrong? I haven't heard from you, or what can I do? What can I do to help you? Many of the people I don't know, the newcomers. There were so few, and now there are so many. So
Yeah, you guys do an unbelievable
we need
job.
more volunteers, yeah.
It's
you'll
so
find-
great. Just so great to have you as part of the community. And
I'm
I
so
hope
glad
now
you get to meet them.
I hope now I'm part of your family now that I've gotten to
Well, don't forget the next match for 1A, Bev, you got to call Chris and ask him for a donation and have him double it.
Don't challenge me, Chris, on that one, please.
I know I will lose.
I think
Oh,
you do
my
very well on
goodness.
your own. I think you do well on
Well,
your
I think we have to wrap it up. Time has gone by so quickly. I want to thank you both for being guests on our podcast.
So
I'm
great.
so
own.
honored.
So much. Thank you both for doing what you do and for your podcasts and for inviting us. Very much appreciate it.
You're
You
welcome.
guys are rock stars. It's so great. That was
Thank you.
awesome, Lizzo.
God, I love those two.
Me too. Now we have to go visit them. So
Yeah.
Not a problem.
I don't know. I might get shot, so I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe
well.
New Jersey's fine.
This
Yeah, I
week
think-
it's knives. No
what was
guns.
that? What was that, Frank?
This week it's knives, not
Oh,
guns.
knives, not
I
guns.
got it.
So, Lizzo, if someone wants to learn more about CMT and or to donate to our cause, where should they go?
Well, www.cmtausa.org. There's so much information on the website. You'll be blown away.
And you got it, folks. Go to the site. Save this as a bookmark. Ongoing information daily. And Lizzo, as we've heard from our guests as well, it takes a lot of money to fund research in order to find a cure for CMT. If someone was so inclined to generously donate to our cause, please go to cmta.usa.org.
No, it's not
did I say that
CMTA
correctly?
dot U. Let me do the
Excuse me.
website.
Oh, yeah.
CMTAUSA.org.
Okay. Good
Okay.
point.
That's all right. And to
I
our
noticed.
listeners, do you have a good story? Would you like to be a guest on our podcast, CMT for Me? Well, write to us. We have a different email that you can write to us now. Or go right to us. And it's CMT, the number 4 me podcast @gmail.com. CMT, the number 4 me podcast @gmail.com. Pitch your idea. Tell us about you, and we'd love
We
to hear
wanna
from
hear.
you.
And Lizzo, reviews are so important for promoting this podcast.
Absolutely.
And where does someone go who wants to write a review?
Yeah. So if you listen on Apple Podcasts, you can leave your review right there. And we've gotten some great reviews, so keep them coming.
You got it. And good luck on your Cycle for CMT ride in San Francisco coming up this weekend, Lizzo. You and
Thank you.
Johan and a bunch of folks on the West Coast doing a ride.
Yeah, we're so excited. Gene is coming out, and John Savard is going to be here, people from Stanford and UCSF, and we're planning on a great Saturday. So thank you. Thank you so much.
And I'm glad that you are shipping out swag to the participants and not this year. And you got all that swag out of my garage, which was fantastic. It's
Oh
been
my
there
God,
for 8+ years.
I don't know how I got suckered into this, but I brought 4 bags back full of Cycle for CMT swag. I felt bad for you at the time, but now I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with all this swag? We don't have basements here in California, but we'll deal with it.
All right, Lizzo, you have a good one. Love you.
I love you too, Chris.
Oh, and let's finish strong. Here we go. Ready, Lizzo?
Yeah, I'm
On a
ready. I'm
1,
ready.
2, 3. Start spreading the news.
I'm leaving today.
Want to be a part of it.
New York, New York. Those vagabond shoes.
Oh my goodness. They're longing to stray.
Right through the very heart of it.
New York.
New York.
All right. We definitely don't have a music career, folks. Take care, everybody. Till next time.
Get to the
Adios.
podcast. Bye. All right. I'm going to
That's it,
stop the
guys.
recording.